believe the hype is a sequel. Don't 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 believe the hype is a sequel.
Good evening and welcome to Guna Matters, where your opinion matters. Arsenal don't look the part. European football seems bleak. All right, let's welcome our guest on the right of me, on my right, my left, the enforcer. How are you, Des?
I'm good, thank you. There was a lot of opinions in that opening there. A lot of them are right, though. I must be honest. It's good to be on with you guys. It's good to see Warren. Yeah. It's good to see Warren there.
First time on Guna Matters is Wolfie. Happy Festive. Wolfie, welcome, my man, for the first time to Guna Matters. I hope you will enjoy it. How are you doing, my man?
Oh no, I'm good. Football-wise, I had to eat a lot of humble pie. The Liverpool supporters was all over me this morning. It was difficult. It was difficult this morning, but the best thing is to eat humble pie and just give credit to where credit is due, because I mean that's the only thing you can do at this moment. There's no excuses. Otherwise I am good, but I would have been better if we could have at least snatched a narrow victory, maybe a 1-0 or something, especially with the hard work that we put in last week. So it's at the end of the day, it's a great result that went out of the window. So it's a bit disappointing, but nevertheless, I'm good. I'm good, and I'm glad to be on the show to meet new Gunners. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Enforcer, and Glenn. I know you, and that's the old hog there, Mr. Warren.
Warren, welcome back to the show.
How's it? Thanks for having me on, pal. Appreciate it. Whoever meets me now, I am always up for a good footy chat. My wife must always try and tell me, listen, you calm down, you're talking too much now. So thanks for having me on. And the reason why I was a little bit late, I apologize for that, is that I've been on leave for a couple of weeks, and my device here got a bit of a shock to the system when I started it up here. So everything froze. And I was like, oh my goodness me. Glenn is going to give me a hiding tonight because I'm running late here. And just at the end, I managed to do a little move. But anyway, great to see the enforcer again. And, gangster Wolfie there.
So let us get into the first segment of the show, obviously, which is last night's game. So there you are. It's 2-0 to Liverpool, obviously. I think let's start with you, Wolfie. You were the first one that says that you are very unfortunate.
Yeah, look, it's after last week's heroics. Let me rather put it like that. That we as Arsenal supporters, obviously, I'm on a lot of Arsenal groups, and the run up to yesterday's game, all Arsenal supporters were optimistic. A lot of them were thinking we're going to the final. I told the guys, please relax because I'm a guy. I like to hear the whistle, the final whistle blow before I want to celebrate. So it's a huge disappointment with regards to the Liverpool uh, squad being a little bit weaker now with the loss of Mane and Salah. So this would have been the best chance for us to have at least beaten them and gone to the final. I mean, we had a decent team out there, and I really thought that we had what it took to at least win the game. But on the night again, it's like a roller coaster with Arsenal. Yeah, you're up there now, then you're coming down, then you're going up, then you're coming down, and last night was just one of those performances that actually showed how weak we are and how much work we have to do to get where we want to get where we want to be. Because if we can't beat the Liverpool second string team, yes, they had about 70% of their team available, but if we can't beat them on our own home ground, then we are miles apart from each other in terms of class, attitude, style, and 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 just by looking at our squad depth, it's ridiculous. We now in January, and we should have had reinforcements come through the door, maybe at least by the end of the first week of the transfer window. I mean, what is Edu doing? What is this guys doing? They know the situations, so why isn't these players coming in? I mean, we have a chance for Champions League. We're in a great position, but it looks like we're throwing that also out of the window, like we threw the FA Cup and now the Carabao Cup, and now it looks like we're basically going to throw those fourth spot away. It's somebody needs to call an urgent meeting at the Arsenal board because it looks like we're back on the decline roller coaster. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's disappointing. And yeah, we Arteta was talking about Tomoyasu. The guy was poor last night. Yeah, he came back from a spell on the sidelines. He was injured, but he was very very poor last night. And our discipline is so poor. I mean, Party is experienced guy getting 2 yellow cards in 3 minutes. It's ridiculous. From the most experienced player. These youngsters are there to learn from the experienced players in Party and especially Lacazette. But it looks like they don't have any godfathers around them to help them.
Yeah.
They just play, but they're playing. They're playing, but they're playing without any direction. It's not use that our powerhouse is Saka and Martinelli, but where's the balls going to? Who's going to be scoring the goals? If Lacazette is not having a good game, we can't bring on Nketiah. What's a guy going to do? The guy couldn't even put the ball in the back of the net against Everton.
Yeah.
So
To be fair,
yes.
sorry. To be fair on the teams, obviously we could see on the team last night. I mean, there was a lot of fatigue on the players, especially those ones that were out injured, like you've mentioned, Tomiyasu. I mean, you call on ESR, Emil Smith Rowe, he was dead in the water. Even our defense in what's his name, Ben White, both goals came through his mistakes. So to the defense, the fatigue in the team obviously is the fact that Mikel Arteta wanted to field a strong team but not a fit team. What is your opinion about that, Mr. Van Schoor?
Oh, okay, it's Martin. I thought maybe that I came last. Maybe you want to give the enforcer a go first.
No, please, Warren, go ahead. Warren, go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
Okay, sure. Jeepers. My word. Okay, where do I start? I remember during the game, I just thought, Jeebus, this is men against boys.
Yeah.
It was a pathetic performance. No one gets away with it. They were all in it. They were all really poor, poor, very poor. I'm angry as well because we got a situation now where the people in charge at the club, the the idiots and the Artetas, this is just mismanagement, total mismanagement. They knew long before the time there's AFCONs, there's COVID is around. January, December is the time where we play more. There's more points on offer in that period than in any other time of the season. Um, then we still have the audacity to go call off a North London derby, right? Where we didn't, I feel, have the right to do that. We had one person with COVID. That doesn't qualify for postponement for me. Then to add insult to injury, to add to the level of stupidity, we still going to send our players on loan, right? In the same areas that we needed people. Then we got the audacity and the gall to go to the Premier League and go and ask them to go and postpone games because we're sending people out on loan. We haven't bought anyone, even though we knew for the entire year there's going to be an AFCON. Um, and also the fact that we've got, you know, we've got senior players getting red cards left, right, and center. Now, what has that got to do with the Premier League? Anyway, to the game in hand last night. Um, it was the first 15 minutes excitement, and that was it. We died a quick death after that. 0% ideas. We've got no midfield. I don't know what people were expecting from Lokonga. The guy's playing next to two attacking midfielders in midfield. I could have told you 10 years ago, Liverpool will murder us, right? There was no chance of us dominating that midfield. Um, they were bossing it completely. Once they figured us out after 50 minutes, that was it. Um, Fatigue is not an excuse. We're the team that have played probably the least amount of games this season. Remember, we were all boasting about how nice it'll be if we play one game a week. Yet we still and also on top of that, Liverpool played over the weekend, not us. Yet we still looked fatigued, and it tells you that the squad is then not good enough because the manager doesn't trust someone like Chambers to do a job at right back, and he rushes back what's it? Tommy Yasu was
I mean,
totally. You could see he was totally. He wasn't ready. Um, the embarrassment on top of the embarrassment, this Thomas Party. I mean, we just look like a pub team now. We look like
Yeah.
a NGO social bloody let's have fun in the sun, a pub team. The guy lands at Heathrow a few hours before. He needs to quickly change in the taxi on the way to the stadium just so he can be on the bench because we simply have no options.
Yeah.
It's a total shambles, and yet so what happened in the last couple of weeks now? So we lost our pole position of being in fourth, isn't it? So that's
Yeah.
one. Two, we're out of the FA Cup. Three, we're out of the Carabao Cup here. So now we literally only have the league left. Compounded to all of that, when you've got youngsters, so we all like bragging about we got the youngest average team and that. So that's nice to brag about. So that's fantastic. But what you get with youngsters is that you get inconsistent performances. And that's why I
Yeah.
always try to tell the guys, just calm down to the youngsters. These guys, I can tell you now, Didi, the guys are not going to be able to put that performance in every week because you just don't get that from youngsters. So
Yes.
why?
Yes.
So someone might ask me, yeah, but hold on, Warren. So why does it work for another team when they've got youngsters and not for us? Well, I'll
Mm.
tell you that. I'll tell you the answer. The answer is that in those other teams, right, they've got senior players there where that youngsters can gel into. But with us, it's the flip side.
Yeah.
Our, the youngsters are the ones carrying the team for the last 3 years. Look at our previous captain, right, Bamiyang. Look at Zaka. We got rid of all the other oaks, the Mustafis. Actually, I feel sorry for these guys, but I blame Arteta and Edu for the predicament we're in now, because they the decision makers of the club. They knew what was coming their way, and they knew that you can see that they can't rely on certain other players. Even I just mentioned Chambers earlier. If there was an issue with Ben White, I think someone mentioned Ben White earlier, or whatever.
I
Then,
mentioned Ben White. Yeah.
then why not play a holding if that is a thing? But obviously the answer is they don't trust these guys enough because they know they're not good enough.
Yeah.
It was totally men against boys. We were nowhere in the game. Lacazette reminded all of us again, he's not a striker. I've said it a billion times. He works hard. I keep hearing the excuse about Lacazette works hard. He's good for the kids, which is correct. It's true. He's good for the kids. He's one of the
That's
few.
not good. That's
That's
not good enough.
almost one of the only senior players I think is actually good for the youngsters, and he works hard most of the time. But it's nowhere near good enough for a striker. This guy, 4 years ago, I wouldn't put my life on the line for this guy to score a goal, and that was 4 years ago. Never mind now. The guy is not good enough.
No.
I don't know what. Maybe I must do a sign language in German, French, because the penny is not dropping with this guy. I mean, now people are still like he has a half a good game once every 4 months, and then it's no. Maybe we can give another 2 years. The guy's not good enough. Aubameyang is gone. His head is in cyberspace. In Eddie Nketiah is and will not be good enough for the club. We send the other Balogun out, and we need reinforcements. We are now.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the next thing now is which we only have left to fight for is the league. And I'm telling you, you can tell me no, Warren, you're being too negative and you're being wrong. Karma is something that gets you back. And we had a perfect opportunity to catch Spurs when they didn't have Son there, right? Son was going to be absent for that game. And I thought, here's an opportunity to really nail them. We can, no, never mind a draw, we can go there and get 3 points. It'll be a massive top four statement. Watch how that
Yes.
comes back to bite us in the arse and how that team beats us. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now.
Des, before we go to something else, Warren has obviously alluded to a few things regarding what we need. Your take on last night's game, quickly.
Right. Well, the lads haven't left me much to say, really. They've covered it all. But I've got to say this: who are we building this team around? Because I haven't got a clue. Okay, Tommy Asu, bless him, he was busted. Partey might as well have stayed in AFCON. You know, Saka didn't have a good game. I can't believe the first goal with Jota. 3 defenders got in his way and he still got the ball underneath them. How did that happen?
Yeah.
You know, the first 15 minutes were like, oh, yeah, Arsenal pressing, come on. Yeah, Arsenal pressing. This could be a good game. And as you say, it was as if someone had switched the lights off. You know, they were playing in the dark. It's like what Wolfie said. We can't be cocky today, right? And humble pie it gets stuck in your throat if you're an Arsenal fan. And all this has done is those that are chasing top 4, okay, are now thinking, they're Mickey, you know, they're taking the Mickey. Because the only positive we've got that we can hold on to at the moment is we've got 18 games to go this season and something could happen. But that's very, very slim. Very slim. We've got some great players in this team, but with great players, you need experienced players. Lacazette, I agree with Warren. Lacazette, don't sign it. Do not sign it. Go in the summer. Yeah? Aubameyang. Would Aubameyang have made a difference last night? We don't know because he wasn't played. You know? Oh, mate. Nketiah. Oh, someone take him, please. Honestly. Someone take him. But what we need to do is we need to realise, either as fans or the manager, who is he building this team around? Because Partey, for me, jog on, son. I've never rated him, right? I won't rate him as long as there's a Y and day. Do you know what I mean? He does a couple of good passes per game, right? He couldn't hit a barn door, yeah. I mean, we've got some of the best defenders in the league, right? We've got some of the best defenders in the league. Yet last night they had the Mickey taken out of them. And I know it's because this so and so wasn't fit, and I agree as well, right? We should have played Tottenham. We definitely should have played Tottenham because it would have made a statement. It definitely would have made a statement. Okay, we're not making any statements anymore. If anything, we're running scared, and because
try and play Tottenham now after they beat Leicester. Try and play them now with the confidence.
I know, but I just want to say one more thing, and this again agrees with everything that you said, boys. Yeah, Arsenal in the transfer windows, right, do not do business quick enough.
Yeah,
they do not do business quick enough, and that is where we're going wrong. And the thing is, Maitland-Niles, yeah, we gave him away when we could have said you can have him at the end of the month. So we shoot ourselves in the foot. And I'll tell you what part of it is. I think it's get the money in and then get the players. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, that's all I've got to say. I don't really want to talk about last night's game, but then
before we go any further, I just want to let us cool off a bit. There's a lot of emotion going on there. But this is something that I want to try going forward on the show, and I'm going to give a lot of people a chance to do something like this. And it's just a minute or so, but it's going to be in segments of 3 parts. But just to give us a bit of a breather of the emotions that are so high.
Why I am? Well, it's an interesting question. If you think about it, we use the phrase I am every day. Somebody asks you, how are you? You're going to say, I'm good, I'm well, I'm blessed, whatever it is. And subconsciously, most of us, every day in conversation, we start a sentence or a response by saying, I am. So I thought, why not start a clothing brand that says, I am?
Right, that is something I'm going to go forth in the future with the channel, where yes, you have a service you want to do, or you want to have a business that you want to advertise. That is the way to go. Short and sweet, talk about whatever it is. Now, Wolfie, these are the team that we have as Arsenal as our strongest team, which is Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, White, Gabriel, Tierney, Smith Rowe, Partey, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette. That is our strongest team. And I mean, what's the name alluded to it early on? We are not just good enough team to. I mean, this team is not going to take us top 4. What do you say?
I spoke to a Gooner, and I spoke to a lot of Gooners, and I said, if we really are honest with ourselves as Gooners now, it's like Warren said now. People are having good reviews about Lacazette. The only reason because of that is because our players are average, and our mindsets has become average. And I don't want to disrespect anyone, but I also want people to understand. It's like with the Lacazette, he's the best out of the lot. So now, if he's the best out of the lot, so we're gonna be raving about him, but he's not good enough. He's just not good enough. It's like Lukonga. He started a couple of good games. He started games. People was raving about him. Oh, the guy is going to be the next Yaya Toure. He's miles away from these kind of things. These are guys that shouldn't be starting games. It's like the Tavares. The guy had a couple of good games. Now the guy is now people want the guy to start. And then when the Liverpool game came, the guys got exposed. Now, if we're gonna look, if we as Arsenal wanna take the step, or we wanna get to the levels of Champions League, let's take fourth spot. We gotta think now: is this team good enough? No, they are not good enough. We seen it yesterday. We see now one player could easily score 2 goals, as the enforcer said there. How could this one guy go past Tomayasu, cut inside? There's Gabriel and White. Now those two are our best defenders. The ball, he gets the ball past him and past the goalkeeper, and the ball is rolling. My grandmother could have ran after that ball and took it out of the post before it went over the line. So it for me, I would have never wanted, and I hear that you guys are talking about playing Spurs. What would have happened if Spurs gave us another hiding? We couldn't even beat Nottingham Forest. We couldn't beat a cheap Liverpool team. How are we going to beat a team that just that? I mean, Spurs is now on. What we don't understand is this. Yes, we do have good performances against Spurs, but what if they would have hammered us? What then? What then? And this team that you just put out now, like
Wolfie.
Enforcer said, this team that you just put out, as Enforcer said, Partey was a good player under Simeone. He had played his best football. These players is not playing their best. Here and there they're having good games, but they're getting exposed against the big boys. And it's easy to see. I mean, our manager is inexperienced. I mean, he got a new title within the season. He became from coach to manager to oversee with Edu the players coming in and out. I mean, it's if we take a simple example, Brighton. Let's go Brighton. Look at their team. They played at Chelsea. They managed to come out with a 1-1 draw. Now this is a team I've been watching them of late. This is a team that's under also a young manager, but it seems that this manager is getting the best out of what he has. I mean, this is a team that lost Ben White to Arsenal. This is their central defender that was a good player last season for them. They lost him. They got Webster. They got Webster in now. The guy was man of the match, and enforcer. You will obviously know. Southgate is talk. There's huge reviews about this boy. He's they're considering him for England. So, but what I'm trying to say is the Brighton manager is getting the best out of what he has available.
Yeah.
We are not. Our manager is not getting the best out of what we have. We have a team that is capable of beating of getting results. We are now not getting these results. I mean, if we look at Odegaard, he has one good game, then he's off. Smith Rowe has been on form, but he's sitting on the bench. It's like the manager really doesn't know what to do, who to play, when to play. If you look at, we're all having this discussion about transfers, but why couldn't we recall guys like Guendouzi? Why couldn't we recall these guys? Why couldn't we call Saliba? We can't expect Gabriel and White to play the whole season. Complacency is a dangerous word, and that fell on Aubameyang. Complacency. We don't have another good backup. Guys, he's going to come complacent. They're going to burn out. Or we can use the word fatigue. Now, fatigue is a dangerous word also, because now we're going to say the guy's tired, but we got a squad of 23, 24 players. We need to use the squad. If you look at the Fergie days, Ferguson, he was a brilliant manager, but he used his squad. He knew when to use certain players. If we want to reach the peak, we got to look at teams as won leagues. Arsenal has won leagues with Thierry Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, David Seaman, Lehman. Those are the spine. That's a spine, a solid spine. You win games with a solid spine. If you look at the current City team, they got Rodri in their midfield.
Yeah.
They got a top class goalkeeper. Their midfield is second to none. So they dominate teams. If you look at the Liverpool team, they also have Henderson and what's that other guy, Robinho. They were bossing the midfield yesterday. they got a top-class goalkeeper. So your spine needs to be strong if you want to compete in this league. It is simple. We unfortunately we don't have a good spine. We got two guys that's playing on the wings, but we have a small little striker, and we're playing in a league where there's giants. So how does the ball get to this guy? What kind of pattern do we have? Our midfielders never take chances. We are always looking for the safety option is sideways, sideways, sideways. Let's give it back to him. Let's give it to Ramsdale. No one is taking a chance to drive at the defense. If you drive at the defense, now your Sackers and your Martinellis is going to become dangerous because the defense has to turn around. They have to worry. Yeah, he has two speedsters next to me. But if we're playing it sideways and backwards, the defense can sit up like that, and it's easy. It's easy to like Enforcer said, Saka was not in the game. Why? Because you got 2 guys, 3 guys on him every time he gets the ball. It's easy because our play is too slow. We're not
Yeah.
fast. Our transition is not fast
Yeah.
enough to give these guys. It's like Martinelli. He was brilliant in the first 20 minutes, but we didn't get the ball enough to him, and there's no outlet. And when we got Lacazette, now you got 2 central defenders on Lacazette. Who does he pass the ball to? It's frustrating to watch.
So, Warren, will this guy make a difference? I mean, there's a lot of things around this guy, and I'm not convinced the deal is gonna happen. So, I mean, the supporters the other night said that they spotted a sign that Vlahovic is gonna come to the Emirates because he waved them goodbye after a goal. He scored
Load of rubbish.
Oh my word.
and all
So
sort
like-
of blah 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 blah. I mean, it's frustrating, and this is like the old talks about Asim Ayawa from
Yeah.
the other team. It's a whole lot of ball. So, in your opinion, is that ever going to happen? Because I mean, the guy made a deal, a pre-arranged deal with Juve at the end of 2023 when his what's the name finishes. Is
Yeah.
Arsenal going to go to this?
I must be. Yeah, Luca. I must be honest. I don't watch sort of other leagues, and I gave up a few years ago listening to all the rumors because it happened too much, and all the false signs, and then I think Wolfie mentioned earlier, or was it the enforcer? We should have, dealt with these things much earlier and let the players go rather after the month of January, because our season could be over come the end of January, to be honest with you. Um, on that actual signing, I'm hearing a lot about this guy, but I must be honest, I've never seen this guy play. I'm only hearing stuff. But if we're going to be indecisive and we're going up against other teams, especially in January, the clock is ticking now. So what is left. So I must be honest. Are we even going to, besides this guy, are we
Well,
even going to sign anyone? Anyone
I've got-
this window?
I've got
How
some.
about
I've
him?
got some information.
my-
I've got,
Oh my word! Oh my word! Oh my word!
yeah, get that off the screen. Get that off the screen, right? I've got some
Yes.
information on Dusan Vlahovic.
Yeah, okay.
Right, that might. Sorry, Warren. You can come back in a minute. Let me
That's
just tell you.
fine.
This is what I found out today, right? Okay, we are supposedly have made an offer of 58 million pounds, okay, or euros. Sorry, 58 million euros. Yeah, we're also meant to be chucking in Lucas Torreira, okay, because they want Lucas Torreira. All right, but today Juve have put in a bid of 35 million plus another midfielder, okay, but Fiorentina, sorry, I can't remember the name of the midfielder that they've offered, but he's meant to be a really good player. Fiorentina don't want him because they don't think he's worth what they're asking for him. Do you know what I mean? So the 35 million euros plus the value of this player. Well, we've offered 58 million euros plus Lucas Torreira to us is worth about 30. Well, they're saying between 27 and 30 million. Okay.
Yeah.
So that works out at what? At 80 odd million. Okay. But it's going to take about 100 million to get Dusan Vlahovic to come to Arsenal. But because now Juve have put an offer in and the player does have a say, I don't think he'll be coming to Arsenal. I think we're absolutely wasting our time. But
So-
Warren, please carry on.
Yeah, okay, no, 'cause, yeah, look, I must. Yeah, I mean, there's like a million rumors and stuff going around, and you simply don't know what one is going to happen. But I mean, our track record with stuff is not, is not good. If I look at this current transfer window, it seems more a window to get rid of players. And just to add on to that comment, um, Wolfie was making some good analysis there in terms of that team picture you had up earlier. What we also need to keep in mind, can I just mention this? I'm not trying to defend anyone, the manager or whatever, but it just shows you the mess that we're in. I remember when we played Leeds in the Carabao Cup, we obviously won that game 3-0, I think. I think it was 0-0 at halftime. But I just remembered, and we played our sort of B team, but my goodness me, I just said the drop in quality from the A team to the B team is gigantic. When you look at other teams, their drop is not, it's not, you know, it's not such a big drop. But another point I want to make is I can count, right? So we've gotten rid of a lot of players in the last 4 years since Wenger left. But I
Yeah.
count about 11 players that we still need to get rid of. Okay, make it 10 now because, Kolasinac, we finally got I mean, my word. I mean, Chiefus.
For
I'm not
free.
trying to, well, there you go. I mean, but I'm just trying to paint a picture just to balance the whole argument out as well. I'm not defending anyone or anything.
Yeah, yeah,
Just keep it in the back of your mind, just the mess that we're in, the size of the task that the manager has on his hand. What makes it even worse is that we've got a manager that's inexperienced as well. That he doesn't have experience about this big transfer windows and the he's still dealing with. I mean, these players at the club from the previous manager. It's like 4 managers ago that we're still trying to get rid of. It's an entire team. So
yeah,
you're mixing and matching. Then your senior players are rubbish. Then is the guys are getting one guy gets COVID and there's silly red cards and it is a it is a hell of a thing. I mean, it's not. I think we must be one of the most complicated teams. And again, I'm not trying to defend him at all. And I look at, I mean, last night's game should tell you everything you need to know. How thin the squad is, and that he actually forced players to play. Thomas
yeah.
Partey's, Dami Yasu's, who else is in there? I
Emil
mean,
Smith, bro.
he's playing Smith Rowe. I mean, Odegaard is playing centre back next to the two centre backs yesterday. That's how deep he was getting the ball. Poor
Yeah,
Lukonga was left alone. What were people expecting him to do yesterday against? I mean, Man City can barely live with Liverpool's middle three. Never mind little old Lukonga that's 21 years old. I mean, what was he
yeah, yeah,
supposed to do? I'm just sorry. I'm just trying to balance the argument also out. Isolated the guys earlier, but if I look at it as well, the entire squad. That is why there's such a big jump from A to B team because. I mean that picture you're sending in there. I mean that I wouldn't even call that my best team because you need another midfielder next to Thomas Partey. There's still a
yeah.
lot of players here.
I wanted to put in Xhaka there, but I mean, everybody
Yeah,
obviously knows
yeah.
Xhaka.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, no, but well, never mind the name. I'm just we do need another a number 8 next to Thomas Partey. We need a number 8 thing, so someone needs to come out here. So, like for example, I almost jumped out of my chair when I heard the rumors about Tillemans. I think Tillemans would immediately improve this team. He can play next to Thomas
Totally.
Partey or
Totally.
you mean and also I'm so frustrated that we got rid of Maitland Niles. The guy's last game, he was voted man of the match by the fans and the club. Why would
Yeah,
you do that? I mean, it makes no sense at all. And I think we're actually starting to see the inexperience of the Edus and Arteta coming through now. The inexperience is showing right now, unfortunately for us, because this is the part of the season, you know what, where you can make or break your entire season right now. We're already out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup. We're out of the top 4 now and dropping. Other teams are starting to pick up points. United look like they're getting the act together again. West Ham look like they're getting their second win going again, or even though they lost but they should be signing new players. I think they did, if I'm not mistaken. Spurs look
Yeah.
like a totally new animal altogether. And we have to play Spurs, mind you, whether we like it or not, at some point in the season. That game is
Yeah.
going to have to happen. So I'm just, the transfer window is not looking good for me, especially now. And it'll be sad in a way, seeing that the youngsters have done so much this season so far. But unfortunately, the senior players, again, letting them down. And unfortunately, I have to be honest, the manager and Edu are not doing enough. They failed us here.
See, the thing
You
I just
is,
want
mentioned
to
this
add.
guy.
uh,
You mentioned this guy, and I mean, these are the two players that are the closest to get into the Arsenal team at this month. Wolfie, sorry, you wanted to say something. Was it about this or something
Yeah,
else?
it's
Sorry.
look, it's I just wanted to add something what Nazir was saying. Excuse me for that. You
Nigel.
see this a lot. Sorry. What Mr. Warren was saying there.
Nigel's flipping burgers. He's
It's
making burgers here.
I know. No, look, a lot of you see with the way things are going, it's like we don't have a direction. As Enforcer said, who are we building this
Holding
team
our team.
around? Who are we building this team around? Because there's certain areas, like you said, there is a lot of positives. There's certain areas of the team that there was improvement. I mean, like Tommy Yasu, although he had a bad game, but he shouldn't have been playing last night. It's simple. So, but with that said, and we're playing poorly, and because of the lack of experience, and there was something that Ian Wright also mentioned about. He said that there's too much inexperience in through the from manager to owner at Arsenal.
So
No one has a record like if you look at Josh Kroenke. I mean, he doesn't. Does he love football? Does he watch football? They interviewed him. He was never ever a football guy. Yeah, apparently, the guy's a basketball player or something. So it's the guy above him, the Indian guy. The guys also he also got a new position. So all these guys
Yeah.
that Edu also, all these guys, they don't have the experience. If you look at other clubs, their directors, all these guys has this huge basket of experience. They know how to handle.
can,
I mean, like this.
can I just give you a quick theory? Just a very quick
Yeah,
theory.
yeah,
I just looked at. Sorry, Wolfie. You can go now. This is
yeah.
what I'm guessing now. Just looking at the whole thing. Arteta obviously he's only just come in and then he's a new manager. He's inexperienced. I think you know what I think what happened here, and you can see it, what happened with Aubameyang stuff. He was his senior players were going to be Aubameyang and Granit Xhaka, but guess what? They're the same two people that have left him let him down the most. And there goes
Yeah.
his whole master plan now. And now he's in a position where you know what I actually have to do something. That is why I think a big part of it was why he gave the Aubameyang deal and why they gave Granit Xhaka such a massive contract where they really shouldn't
Yeah.
have. And I think that's
Yeah,
where it went
That's actually,
totally pear shaped.
that's a fair point. It makes sense because after Granit Xhaka, after Oba, there's a whole lot of, how can I put it? Yeah, you don't know direction, you don't know
Exactly.
cohesion, you don't know,
Exactly.
yeah,
no
He
glue.
pinned all his hopes on those two players. He pinned all his hopes on
yeah.
those two players. And ironically, sadly for him, those are the same two players that actually let him down. Sorry, Enforcer, you got something else?
no, you finish what you're saying.
No, sorry, I just that's the sort of I just wanted to close out on that. That same two players are the ones that left the manager down, and now he's kind of headless now. He doesn't know where to go now.
Right. Can I ask you boys a question? I know
Yes,
you've
of
only met
course.
me tonight. I know you've only met me tonight, Wolfie, right? And Warren, I think this is the second time we. But do I look annoyed when you look at
No,
me on camera? Do I look annoyed? You know, because
you do look.
I tell you,
When
Yeah.
you look at
I'm quite. Do you know what it is, lads? I'm being totally honest, right? Because all of it. Well, you, Warren, Wolfie, you've just spoke the truth tonight, and the thing is, I can't see it getting better anytime sooner. You know what I mean? Because if you look at it, right, you're right. The only team at the top four that is having major problems this season, it seems, because they seem to be on a bit of a free fall, is Chelsea. Chelsea have got to worry a little. But if you look at Man City as an example, and this is what I don't understand, because Arteta is meant to have learnt from Pep, right? They could field 2 teams in one match. So what I mean by that is they start with a great 11, and then on their bench, if they take someone off, it doesn't stop the team from performing. You know what I mean? And the thing that gets me as well, Manchester City haven't even got an out-and-out striker. So how can you play a game of football like they do without an out-and-out striker? And you'd have thought that Arteta, right, would have learnt from this. And yeah, sometimes you have to copy people. And I know people would say, oh, but you want to put your own mark on it, yeah? Sometimes, if there's a formula that works, you have to copy it. Because if we go, sorry, Glenn, I'm just going to say this one thing, right? If we go back in time, 4-4-2 was the new formation, right? And then everybody started using 4-4-2 because it worked. And this is where Arteta's going wrong. He's trying this, he's trying that, he's mixing this and mixing that, but it doesn't work. And the thing is, there are players on the field that we all like, yeah? Like your Saka, your Emil Smith-Rowe, your Ramsdale, okay? For me, Odegaard, obviously, yeah? But mixing and matching just makes you look silly. And we are, like Warren said, we are looking like a pup team. You know, we can't even beat Nottingham Forest. What's going on there? No disrespect to Nottingham Forest because they played out their skin, but we can't even beat them. You know, and how are we supposed to get behind a team when we don't even know what's going on? We don't, because Arteta keeps his class. We don't know what Arteta's thinking because he never lets anything out.
Yeah.
If you watch all these press conferences, he might as well be a politician because he avoids questions. Or he says, I don't want to answer that one. We move on to the next one, you know. And as fans, we don't, I mean, I'm trying to speak for all of us and I could be wrong. If you disagree, that's fair enough. But as fans, we do not know what's going on in our club.
Yeah, true.
And you know, and we used to have members that used to go into the club, and there used to be a club meeting with fans actually present, and that doesn't even happen anymore. Like a representative, that doesn't even happen anymore. I mean, guys, let's be honest, right? Every Arsenal match that comes up now, it's basically get a pin and pick a player. Close your eyes. It's potluck.
Yeah. So
because
before we go to our next thing, sorry, Des. Continue.
No, that's fine. That's what I was going to say. We are that thin. You just like, it's like spin the wheel. Oh, Lacazette, you're playing tonight, son. You came top. But no, it's your turn. You know, it's a game show. It's been turned into a game show.
So this is my point. On that point, I mean, everybody's taking chances to get a red card for Pete's sake. I mean, on the 1st of December, it was the top left place, Gabriel. And then last week it is the Granit Xhaka, and yesterday it's Partey. So who's going to be next on Sunday? We're playing Burnley. Who's going to take the next red card for the team? You know what I mean? So
you could run a book on it. You could have bets because, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen, do you? I mean, what's the next game? Burnley, right? Who are we going to play now? For Thomas Partey. Who's going to play Thomas Partey's position?
Good question. Good question. Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. Very good question.
So before we're going to get to that quickly,
guys, I've seen a lot of photographs of different players transfers and stuff. But there's one lad is actually one of my legends. The guy that likes drinking, Mr. Jack Wilshere. Why haven't we offered this guy a contract? We could have
The
given
cigarette
him
man, the one that
as you
escapes
guys
from.
said, if we're a pub team, we could give the guy a run, even if it is 1 or 2 games. I mean, he's got the passion. He's the guy with the most passion in his belly. He's the guy that would have skipped past these guys, driving runs. I mean, with what we are currently, the way we are currently playing now, I would take that guy above anyone else now. I mean, the guy's up for it. He's got something to prove.
Give him
Give
a
the guy a
6-month
chance.
contract. Give him
Up
a
until the end of
6-month
the
fair,
contract.
season. Yes.
Yeah,
Up until the end of the season. You got nothing to lose. If we look at the players, we've been terminating more contracts than selling players. Why couldn't we give this guy a contract? We don't sell players. We terminate
agree.
contracts. No one wants to buy our players. No one wants to buy our players because
That's true.
they are not good enough to play in the Premier League. It's simple.
But not are they not good enough, Wolfie? The other problem is that that's still one thing. Then we still add to it. We still give these guys, we're the only club that give these players that are not good enough gigantic wages. And we made the
Yes,
same mistake
we
with Granit Xhaka and with the guy up front, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We're sitting in the same problem. We have not learned our lesson. And it's going to be difficult to get rid of this. We got players
yeah.
from Arsene Wenger's days that we listen to ourselves now. Wolfie's mentioning Wilshere. We got the guy off from a plane to put his socks on to play for us. He got 2 red cards. Listen to us. Listen to the words coming out of our mouth. What we're saying. We sound. This is the type of things that a pub team would make up. Come on, Glenman. I haven't seen you in 5 years. Oh yeah, come play here, man. Come play in midfield. It's fun. There you have a good time. Don't worry. I mean, it's almost amateurish.
Can we re-sign Santi Cazorla, please?
sorry. On deadline day, we were going to obviously get a player, probably a player that you don't know who he is. It always happens in Arsenal. You get a player on deadline day, and then you wonder who the hell is this player. So I mean that is always the case with Arsenal, and I mean it frustrates me, and it sounds like a circus the way we try to sort of justify things, but it's worse than that. I mean, there's no word in the vocabulary created yet for what's going on at Arsenal because it is frustrating. Yes, Des, go for it.
I was just wondering if we could re-sign Santi Cazorla, Dennis Bergkamp, and Terry Henry. Do you think they come back in?
Of
Well,
course.
Stu in the
What?
comments made something like that there. He said, yeah.
Because I tell you now, if Terry Henry was still playing, he would walk back into this team.
Yeah, that's maybe. Yeah. Well, go for it.
Let's go to our
I'll
last
say-
segment of the evening, guys. Before we do anything else, the next 5 games, obviously Burnley on Sunday, Wolves on the next after the break, and then of course the other 3 games thereafter. On our Sunday, let's turn our attention to Sunday firstly. So I wrote there at the bottom that these fixtures are crucial for our top 4 aspirations. Must-win matches to stay in the running of the top 4. Now, West Ham, Chelsea, and Manchester United has lost points last week, but they made up now in the middle of the week. One of the games they had in hand, they obviously both won their respective games. So, quickly, Wolfie, what do you think will be happening in the next 5 games? On paper, we should win all of them.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, you know what? With the suspensions, I mean, Windows Party will obviously miss. Party and Shaka will miss, so we won't have a midfield against Burnley. Burnley's struggling at the moment. I mean, they would cut off an arm for a point. So the last time we played Burnley never won at Arsenal in about 45 years, and they eventually beat us. And Granit Xhaka got sent off in that game, I think, again. But It's so unpredictable, man. You know, these as you just said, as you just said, these games is on paper is so easy. We should be beating these teams easily. We should be getting maximum points, but with the way we are playing and Burnley that's hungry for points, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a difficult game, and obviously the Emirates crowd is going to be there. It's if we don't get anything but a victory, the boo boys is gonna come out. It's gonna be they're gonna be tough on the players because patience is now thin. We as Warren and Enforcer said, we're out of the FA Cup, out of the Carabao Cup. That's huge disappointments. If we
Yeah.
don't win, if we don't get up 3 points against Burnley this weekend, all hell will break loose. I'm telling you now, all hell will break loose. Then
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
find
agree.
out, and then we're gonna come with panic buys because now Arteta doesn't have a foot to stand on. We are in the January transfer window. This Dusan guy, there has to be a time cap or something or expiry date. What are we gonna do? But if this guy don't sign by tomorrow, if we can't come to an agreement by tomorrow, then we need
Guys,
to go
sorry,
to B and C.
just
We
this just came out now that says that Diego Costa is very close to signing for Arsenal.
oh,
He's very close. So I mean,
it,
again, like I said earlier on, it's a circus. What should we do with this?
Are, are you
You are
serious?
like,
Yeah,
you're
I
that
just
is a
having
read
a
that
plan
joke.
now.
B. That's
I
plan
just read
B.
it. This came
That
out
is
about
plan
10 minutes
B.
ago.
That is
Glenn, you
plan
are having
B.
a joke, aren't you? You're trying to wind us up with that, aren't you?
Glenn, no,
No,
serious. Are you
10
serious?
minutes
No,
ago.
you're
No, it's
laughing.
serious.
You're laughing.
This
You
guy is
are
playing
one.
with emotions
No,
here.
there's. It's
Right,
serious.
listen.
I'm gonna
So
send
we
it to you on
go.
WhatsApp.
So we're doing again, William. Now we're getting old age guys now. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. We're playing Wolves. Let me tell you something. The second game is Wolves. I don't know if you guys watch the Wolves games. These guys have conceded 2 goals in the last 10 games, 10, 12 games. Their defense is the strongest in the league. They don't concede goals. The other problem
Yeah.
that they have is they don't score goals. But we have a big problem. They have Traore is going to be running. So the guy's going to be like Hulk running against Captain America.
Journey.
It's going to be terrible. It's we
Yeah.
have to win these games. But the problem is our midfield is gone, and the guys that we're counting on has disappointed us. Both red cards.
Warren, to be
Yeah,
fair to the youngsters, in terms of Charlie Patino or even Salah, they are very
yeah,
good in their own league. I mean,
yeah.
Charlie Patino was thrown in the deep end the other day,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
surely Burnley should be a
So,
touch
so I mean,
in.
I mean, I, so, I mean, I, we, so I reckon we will beat just about everyone here. We won't beat Wolves. Like if that one happened, we won't beat Wolves. I reckon we'll
And then,
beat the Burnleys, the Brentfords. We'll beat Watford. I reckon we will beat Watford. Leicester. Yeah, I think we could beat Leicester, man. I think we can beat Leicester. But the Wolves game, so we need to get the points in now, and I think this will give us a good chance. I know we have been disappointed with last night and the Forest games, but to be honest with you, we what we call flat track bullies. We will beat the teams with no quality, but when we come up against a well organized team like Wolves, we'll quickly run out of ideas, and we won't beat Wolves. That'll be like a 0-0 there. I mean, or I don't know. But after those fixtures, we will then separate the men from the boys. We'll be playing the Chelseas, the Spurs, Liverpool United, all those Villa again, all of them in a row. So, like
yeah,
Wolfie said, this set of games now is make or
they
break.
have to win. They have to
Yeah,
win.
absolutely. Because if we don't say, for example, beat Brentford, or if we don't beat sorry, Burnley, oh my goodness, then we in major trouble. Because the other thing is also this, just a flip side to this. I reckon we can get points here. Okay, except the Wolves game, but like for example, this weekend West Ham play
United.
against United, and there will be games like that, like Chelsea against United.
Sure.
United, yeah, they will take points of each other. So these set of games, if we think in positive, we can get maximum points, and the others, someone will drop points, which can give us a bit of a buffer. That's why I said we should have played Spurs when we had the gap there rather than now. Anyway, that's come and gone now. But I reckon we'll win these games, and I hope you were joking about the Costa story.
No. I just think that to enforce that it's true. I mean, 10 minutes ago that came out. He's very close to signing for his new club, and it's Arsenal. I hope it's not happening. I hope for the life. I don't. That's a gangster. Wolfie, if ever they said you're a gangster, that is a gangster. Really, it is.
Days is looking even more upset now.
We're talking about red cards here, and that's going to be another red card, another 3 games out. So
I'll tell you, right, before I go on about the fixtures, Glenwyn, if we sign Diego Costa, I am losing the will to live. I would rather stick pins in my eyes, right? And I'm enforcing that. That's enforced. I mean, I may just disappear. You may never see me again, right? Gee, honestly, I thought you were just winding us up, honestly. Right, the fixtures. Okay. Can you put... Yes, thank you. Arsenal, Burnley, I think we'll get a point. Wolves, Arsenal, I think we'll get a point. Brentford, I think we'll get a point. Watford, 3 points. Leicester.
I get your point. I get your point.
So I think we're on for about 7 points out of all of them games, if I'm honest. I know you say, Warren, we could beat Leicester, but the way it's going, my friend, my brother, I can't see it. I can't see it.
No, I think Arsenal will do their best to tease us. Right, we'll get the points. We will look like fourth is here, and then bang, we will play the big boys, and it'll be. You know, Arsenal have done that over the last 20 years. They'll tease us. They'll get the points. We've seen this already. We've seen this movie already. The points will come there, and top 4 is like we're scratching it there. You know, remember 2 years ago, Mustafi then threw the top 4 away because he was doing cartwheels on the ground there and stuff. And I mean, look, I could be wrong, but I reckon we'll get points just to tease us. And then when it gets to that big games in end of March and April and May, it'll be a whole other story.
Guys, sorry, you want to say something?
It's gone out my head. I'm that angry. It's gone out my head.
You're still thinking about Costa, Diego Costa. I mean, please.
Warren, please don't.
Please, Lord, don't do this to me. Don't do this.
Oh, mate. Honestly, Glenn, it's gone. Whatever I was going to say, it's gone. I'm heartbroken.
Let's make a prediction. Wolfie, your prediction for Sunday.
You know, I would love a 2-0 victory to the Arsenal. That would make me a little bit happy. It will. Yeah, it's a 2-0. Look, Burnley, they are struggling. We are struggling also, but with the home team, we got the crowd there, you know, and our Emirates crowd has been brilliant. So look, these guys need to step up. They need to step up. The youngsters will be as energetic as they always are. So hopefully the goals will come. I'm going to go with the 2-0. I'm being optimistic here. Let's go with the 2-0 victory. Let's go with it.
Warren, you've got a proper evil laugh there, mate. You've got a proper evil laugh.
Who sounds like one of those guys that, as he's saying it, he's trying to convince himself more than other people.
You know, I'm thinking of Mark Overmars and Anelka now. The United game that Overmars scored and that took us to the title. So that just went in my mind. I'm like, now I'm optimistic now.
Yeah, no. We're gonna be playing Lacazette and Zaka. Now listen, I think we'll win the game. I think it'll be 2-0 as well. Burnley is in all kinds of trouble. They actually sold their striker. Can you believe it? Chris Hoods is at Newcastle, so I don't know where they'll have probably that Barnes guy. but they're not scoring goals. And also the major difference between last night and Sunday will be we will have time on the ball on Sunday. It's not like Liverpool and the midfields and da. So the Odegaards and the Smith Rowes will have time on their hands. It will still be a difficult game. There'll be elbows and knees, but I reckon 2-0.
Des,
Hello.
you said a point. It must be a draw.
Right. I've remembered my quick point I wanted to make. Sorry. We are meant to be the third richest club in the world, right? Or in the league, whatever. I'm not quite sure if it's world or league, right? But we don't spend money like we're the third richest club in the world or league. You know? But anyway, back to the prediction. I'm going to go for a pub score. It's going to be 5-2 to Arsenal. No, in all honesty, only joking. All honesty, I think Burnley will run us, and I think it'll be a 1-1 draw.
All right. That's putting a damper on the whole thing.
Well, I'm in that kind of mood because I've been put in that kind of mood by blooming Diego Costa.
He might just
player, you can get your goals, right?
he might just score that one goal.
You can get your goals. To be fair.
I'd rather play with Diego Costa. Put an Arsenal top on me, I'll have a go.
All right, my prediction is 2-1.
And then, do you know what gets me, Glenwin, do you know what gets me? You asked us not to swear, and I'll tell you what, I've been pretty close tonight, I'm afraid. But I haven't. But you know, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I came to that point. Like I said, every now and then after a segment, I wanna advertise people. So if you know of people who wanna advertise small businesses, services, and that sort of thing, I still need to find out from YouTube if it is possible for me to do it via this platform. And this is the next one.
What is the brand all about? Well, I Am is a personalized clothing brand. If you think about it, consciously or subconsciously, every day our clothing reflects a particular thing. And in some way or the other, we end up promoting a particular brand. And I thought, why not give people the opportunity to print their mantra, that motto of theirs, that life slogan of theirs. Print it on a nice quality looking shirt, and so that they can parade that to the world. And that's why I decided, well, let's call it I Am. What is...
Sorry, that's it. So yeah, that is what I try to do in the future. But it's going to be nice to see what sort of things people can come up with. It's just to, especially for a show like tonight where there is a lot of emotions.
Can you please tell that guy, Mr. Glenn? Can you please tell that guy, Mr. Enforcer, the guy, not Mr. Enforcer, the guy now from the ad. I am annoyed. I am annoyed.
Glenwin, have we had any comments tonight at all?
Yeah, didn't you see the comments?
No, because I'm short-sighted.
Yeah, just a couple of comments that you made on things that you've said about Partey, not Partey, about Ben White. That is too expensive for the Arsenal, 50 million from the Seagulls. And I made a couple of comments there. Can't you see it on your side? I'm sure you guys
can now. It, right? Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can now. Yeah. 50 million for the Seagulls.
I mean, he was. I really don't think it's a bad signing. I mean, you know, he's one of my favorite players. I do rate him highly. He does a lot good than wrong. He's young, but he's got such a lot of potential, and he brings something different to our defense. I mean, it's not a Tony Adams days anymore where you're gonna get the elbows and these hard guys.
When is Saliba coming back? When is Saliba coming back?
You see, that's the problem.
The thing is,
he's coming back, but where's he gonna play?
It's 2 years ago since we bought the player. 3
What
3 years. I mean, what is
What I
going on here?
understand about his contract, his loan contract is he's have to stay there for a full season. So he's definitely coming back. I predict that. That's my
He'd be in
opinion.
the,
But,
he'd
yeah,
be
but
back the
Definitely
summer.
come back.
But tell me the guy comes back. Look,
but that's not
we,
the question at all. That's not. I'm not alluding to that. What I'm saying is, we're the only club, unless someone can tell me there's another club that has ever done this, because I've never in my life heard this. We bought the guy, big bucks, major signing, and we sent this guy out on loan like 3 times, and we've got no clue what and when is he coming and what's the situation. No other club would do this. Not one other club. Southampton wouldn't do this. Burnley wouldn't do this. They would be decisive and make a decision and saying, we're spending the money, and this is how we're going to integrate you into the team. And come towards the end of the season, you'll be challenging the senior players.
you
This guy
see,
is like a Harry Houdini that's
you see
disappeared into
Arteta.
space or something.
You see,
What is
Arteta doesn't
going
have a
on?
foot. You see, Arteta doesn't have a foot to stand on with regards to Saliba. He's a young player, so why can't he get his experience?
Insane.
Why couldn't he get his experience 2 years ago, or even last season, or even this season at Arsenal? If you look at the way he's been performing, the guy's been outstanding.
So all I'm asking you is
Yes,
just be
he's been
decisive.
outstanding.
Just be
So
no, no. So I'm just saying be decisive. If it's a yes, then get his
yeah, if
ass.
you want to play the
If it's,
guy,
if
if
it's
you
not
want the guy,
decisive, then sell him. Don't like
you,
not do anything with him and me just
that's
paying
the
the
Lads,
guys wages.
calm down, calm down.
you see the problem. The problem that we now having with Arteta is that more players don't want to play for him. Aubameyang doesn't want to play for him. We can see the frustration in the team. These guys don't want to play for this guy anymore.
Doesn't make
Niles
sense at
doesn't
all.
want to play. Niles wanted
Doesn't
to
make
leave. He doesn't want to play because he just feels, why didn't I play throughout the whole season? Why now? You understand?
Yeah.
That's why he came out on Twitter and said he wants to go where he's felt needed, all these kind of things. He's such a good
Yeah.
player. Why isn't he playing? We got the talent there. Why is Arteta playing Lukonga, but he's not playing Maitland-Niles? And Maitland-Niles is more
Wolfie.
experienced than Lukonga.
Wolfie.
It doesn't make sense, man.
Wolfie, it's all part of being an Arsenal fan, mate.
That's
Nothing
true,
makes
bro.
sense.
It's so
Nothing.
It's,
Yeah, guys, look, we can go on and on and on and on and on. We came to that point. In fact, we are 15 minutes over time, really. I'm gonna.
We're passionate, Glenwyn. We're passionate.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot again
Tough
for
one.
coming.
Thanks, Glenman, for having me on, pal, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks,
Wolfie,
sir.
pleasure.
Always an
pleasure.
honor,
It's
guys.
beautiful. Thanks,
Always a
Enforcer.
Seeing you again
Yeah.
in Forza.
all the
Awesome
best,
stuff.
guys, and enjoy
Awesome
the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Enjoy the game. I'll be thinking of you guys. I just hope we don't draw that game. Hey.
Why do?
One